The following is a presentation of Playfly Sports Properties.
Yeah, two of our players were assaulted. It was we saw the one video. It's the 10-on-1. It's pretty bad. I'm going to let our athletic director Ward Manuel address it with the authorities and. Decide to talk about the football game the rest of the way. Maybe Ward would want to come up and talk after. I'll let Ward address that and have him come up. My perspective is, I heard from the two players when we got into the locker room and we started addressing it, and then the video surfaced.
What happened after the game is completely unacceptable. I've talked to the commissioner. He is looking into it. We have the police are also looking into it, and it's because they've seen the video, and so they're addressing it. We will leave it in their hands, but this is not how we should interact after a game. This is not the way another team should grab a player and do what they did. It's completely and utterly unacceptable. We will let Big Ten and law enforcement handle it, but this is not what a rivalry should be about. And it's not how it should be remembered. We won on the field. This man and his team and those players went out there and won. And for that to happen is unacceptable. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'll leave it to Kevin and law enforcement to handle from here on out. Thank you.
I don't know. I know it was a heated game. Things were heated. We're trying to get our guys in the locker room. We'll have to figure out what happened.
Yeah, I'll provide an update. Right now we have a ongoing police investigation. What happened in the tunnel was egregious. Sickening to watch the videos, the ones that are on social media right now, and also the ABC tunnel cam. It's in a higher elevation that shows much more of what took place. As I said, those are sickening to watch. There needs to be accountability. There needs to be a full, thorough, timely investigation. I can't imagine that these will not, that they won't. I can't imagine that this will not result in criminal charges. The videos are bad, and it's clear what transpired. It seems very, very open and shut. As they say, watch the tape. I'm coming from this from a perspective of being a parent, and these young men are entrusted to me by their families and to our program, and we have the responsibility to each player to treat them like our own, and I take that responsibility very seriously. An apology will not get the job done in this instance. There should be serious consequences for the many individuals that are culpable. And on behalf of the 2022 Michigan football team, our players, our coaches, our staff, our university, this has been a very traumatic experience for everybody, especially for Jaden and Jamon, and we will support them. We'll support them and their families in every possible way. That's it.
First and foremost, Michigan State football is about integrity, discipline, unselfishness, toughness, and accountability. The incidents involving a small group of our players do not represent our culture. Second, I made a decision to suspend players based upon video evidence that was provided to me and our athletic director yesterday. The suspensions will allow the players to receive academic support and medical services, but they will not be able to attend any organized team activities, including meetings, practices, weight training, or games. Our entire team will be cooperating with law enforcement and the Big Ten Conference to further evaluate the events in Ann Arbor. We are deeply sorry. We're deeply sorry to both universities, the conference, our fans, alumni, supporters, and of course, all of our student athletes, past and present. Out of respect for the integrity of the investigation, it would be irresponsible for me to comment further. We'll have more updates as we learn more.
Wow. Very, very deep words from Michigan State head football coach Mel Tucker. Obviously, the events that happened after the football game on Saturday night have superseded what happened on the field. I'm host, this is Sparta. I'm your host, Jason Strayhorn, along with my co-host, Otis Wiley and Jehuu Jehuu Caulcrick. Guys, a lot to unpack here. Most of it off the field, unfortunately. We're going to get right into it. This is what the talk is right now. I mean, you're seeing reports on social media all over the place. TMZ has now reported about criminal charges being filed against Michigan State football players. This thing has gotten way out of hand.
Absolutely, man. It's unfortunate that we're here talking about this incident, knowing that as former players, we've all played in this rivalry, and we all have a chance in 4 quarters to handle our business accordingly on the field. And so when we don't handle that business and we take the loss, you gotta learn how to and know how to win and lose accordingly and properly as a man. And so, these are life lessons that these guys are gonna have to learn. But let's figure out ways to truly understand how this investigation, which we're not experts in doing that, we let the experts do this, but it has to truly start with Michigan's operations on the field. And we'll talk in deep dive on that, but this has happened 2 games prior to this game. And you cannot be a worker or anybody on that field that's delegating to say that you didn't expect this to happen when this truly, the player goes in there by himself while we are walking to the tunnel into our locker room. And so, as he's skipping, I get it, it's understandable, but this is just, one of those things that, man, I know these guys, in the heat of the moment, I'm sure they would like to take that decision back. But look at all the people around there that could have truly avoided that or could have helped alleviate that situation. This guy, for example, there's a lot of professionals that aren't playing in this game. Look at all these people around here that should have pulled him aside and said, no, wait. You think about it at Sparta Stadium, there is a rope that we have extended out to let the away team run into the tunnel, into the locker room. This is just irresponsible. It starts there. And now we're putting all the weight on these young men and their decision. And then, obviously this is transpiring. But, Jehuu, we've been part of these types of moments where, we could have been these guys easily, quickly could be these guys. But it starts with these professionals, man. That should have been stopped right there and not enter in. But, Jehuu, what's your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, you said a lot of the things there, Otis. Some of the biggest things that we have to look at, and some of the biggest questions that have to be answered, from this is one, going into this game is built up. It's a rivalry game, and there's another nickname for this game. Is at the start of it, it's called Hate Week. All right, so you have that mantra with you as a player. You hate these guys. The media from the outside, they talk it up. House divided, Spartans versus Wolverines. They hate each other. They clash. It's been this, it's been that. And then you pair that up, you take it into a hostile environment where, you talked about the tunnel. Our tunnels are a little smaller than Michigan's tunnel is, and there hasn't been any issues really in Spartan Stadium, but yet all along there's issues here. Another question that I have is, going into this game, I've been part of, several rivalry games, Indiana, Penn State, Notre Dame, all those things. And I've won in those games. And what happened after we win those games is, Notre Dame, we take the megaphone, we run to our student section, to our family section, we celebrate with our family. There's not a case, there's nothing in the locker room for you to celebrate with then. They have to usually come out and get you off the field because you're celebrating and enjoying so much. So when that Michigan player decided to take the opportunity to skip around and go into the Spartan players, as he's walking there at the beginning, the Spartan players aren't just doing anything. Something must have been said for them to act this way. He couldn't have just been going right to the locker room and he got attacked and assaulted and jumped, like they're saying it out there to be. Yes, at the end of the day, this is a black eye on the university. Yes, that is.
And I'll talk to the Spartan Nation for a minute. Let me be very clear. We understand that there's no way to condone violence in any way whatsoever, especially when the game is over outside of the lines of play. But have you ever had a bad day at work? Has anybody out there ever felt like, hey, you know what? Give me a minute. Something happened to me just now that I don't like, that I've got to process for a moment. And you just don't need anybody needling you at that moment right there. Now, most of the people that are probably thinking about a bad day at work and you're coming home and the husband or your wife is nagging, or the kids, or whatever's going on. I don't know, bill collector calling, I don't know. These are 18, let me remind you, these are 18 to 22-year-old young people, very young people. If we take a camera and follow you around when you're 18 to 22 years old, would you be proud of everything that you've ever done? So in my opinion, yes, I think that mistakes were made. I think that at that age, it's more difficult for some to deal with, the emotions of a letdown. You've won 2 of these games. There's a lot of hype around this game. You're on the road. There's a lot of players that have never played in this environment before. And it's pretty hostile. It's hostile. It's more hostile in the big house when you lose, because that's when they really give it to you. I've seen players waving at the team from the Michigan side, waving, which is very tongue-in-cheek. It's very flippant, and there's nothing you can do about it because the game is now over and you're walking in the tunnel. You're trying to decompress and breathe. They haven't been able to take a shower yet. They haven't even heard from their head coach yet. And now you got this guy needling you in your area. Look at the number one. Look, you're walk. Why? There's no. They say that he's trying to go to the restroom or get treatment. That's BS. Okay.
And no one ever skips to get treatment, Stray. I'm sorry.
Never.
Yeah. And
never.
I don't care how hurt you are. If you win in a game, and this guy's a sophomore, he's never won this game before. All right. And to win it for the first time at home, I'm running and celebrating with the trophy. I'm not even thinking about treatment or anything right now.
No way. I mean, stay on the field. Celebrate with your fans. That's who deserves to see you, not the players you just beat. You just kicked their ass. Stay on the field with your teammates, okay? Stay on the field and celebrate with your fan base. That's where you belong. You got to go to the restroom, man. Like, give 30 seconds. I promise you that tunnel will clear out. You got plenty of time to do your business and then go back on the field and celebrate. It's a big win. They dominated that game, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They did. Michigan State had no answer for them offensively. Couldn't do it. Couldn't move the ball. Okay, Drake Moody should have been carried around the field. He was scoring 17 of the 29 points himself. That guy's the all-star, him and Corum together. Those guys, celebrate with them. Don't go messing with the team's ass you just kicked. Why? What's the point? You did everything you needed to do. Now, to make matters worse, we're going to press charges on the kids. We're gonna make this a bigger deal. We're going to fan the flame. Look, here we go, right here. You know, Jamon Green, he's pressing charges, okay? He's going full blown. You know, we're going cop with this now. We're bringing in all the authorities. And hey, Mel Tucker's got to do what he's got to do. Mel Tucker, look, there's no look. He issues a statement here, and you know he suspends 4 players. And I'll read first paragraph from it. Michigan State University football core values include integrity, discipline, unselfishness, toughness, and accountability. After reviewing the disturbing electronic evidence collected to date of the altercations between Michigan State and the University of Michigan student athletes on October 29th, 2022, we are suspending Tank Brown, Kari Crump, Angelo Gross, and Zion Young, effective immediately. Guys, you know, you tell me how you feel about it. For my personal look, he has to do this. There's video evidence. You know, some of the people that I know got the video there. Some of the beat writers that they were in perfect position for this, almost like they anticipated something going on there, as you said, alluded to earlier, Otis. What are your thoughts on the charges being pressed against the young players?
Man, I mean, obviously you broke the law when it comes to assaulting. It's really, I'm conflicted because we play this game because this game allows you to relinquish punishment or, you know, not harm, but you're able to play a violent game legally for 4 quarters. And so I've always questioned, you know, we've been a part of fights in practice with our own teammates and, you know, and been heated moments where you've, you know, had an altercation maybe in the game or a personal foul, but you're supposed to obviously, like I said, act like you've been there before. We all will take losses in our lives and as we are playing and we're in the green and white. You know, it just stings more when you know, as we break down this game, that we were very capable of winning that game. And we showed glimpses of great football. And you definitely, when you lose by field goals majority and, you know, a major special team turnover, it's mind blowing that we're that whole game gets overshadowed with this incident, man. And we live, like you said, we live in a day and age that everything's documented. And so, you know, it's one, I feel like there should have been already, like I told you when we first started, a proper plan in place on exiting the field, regardless of who wins that game. Like, if we would have won that game, we would have been celebrating, keeping Paul Bunyan, dancing around with the fans, going to the parent section, singing the fight song. That takes a lot of time for the opposing team to get to their locker room. And I just didn't see that. I didn't see a gap between Michigan celebrating with Paul Bunyan on the field, and it should have been saying that we'll have a ceremony or something. Like, it should have been a huge 10 to 15 minute gap in between to get everybody off the field accordingly and safely. And it gives you some truth with Coach Franklin at Penn State on him issuing what they should happen, because this was the same encounter, not as violent, but same encounter that happened the last game 2 weeks ago. So there's some truth in it, but clearly we are another eyesore, another issue that has another target on us because clearly we took the L, and we're supposed to take the L like the man. Like a man's supposed to do is take the loss, learn from it, move to next weekend. Now we have 4 guys who I'm sure that they are very, very, down right now. And in the moment of that decision, we need to support them, right? We need to support them emotionally, but understand that, yes, they made a mistake. But I keep harping on it, man. Operations got to be in place. Like, it has to be in place.
Yeah, Otis, I'll jump in there. And, I think Coach Tucker, he did the upstanding thing about, going in and holding our guys accountable. They should be held accountable. He did that. He suspended them. Yes. But also, too, the fact that Michigan is sitting there and trying to play the victim in all of this when it's in their house, their building, they control the narrative, they control everything that happens there. So, and I don't want to hear the excuse of, some players might have been going over to get the trophy. The game was out of hand by that point. Paul Bunyan's trophy was shown on the big screen with the Michigan pants on their sidelines. That's where it was. That's where they needed to go. Those guys had no reason running to the Michigan State side. Absolutely no reason to do that. And then also, too, the culture that University of Michigan allows for their fans, the way they allow their fans to act, the things that they allow them to do. We have a clip of Coach Tucker going in, and he's being assaulted, if that's the way we want to go about it.
Yeah, there are reports of this that it was a young kid. That's definitely
that's an old man. That's an old man.
That's an old man that knows better.
Touching his head.
That's an old man.
I mean, there's a lot of connotation that goes back in history. When you talk about touching the top of the head of somebody, it's almost a way of belittling them. Like, you're my son, you're my boy. Like, you just don't do that. And this again is a situation where obviously this is a grown man here who needs to decompress. I know he's paid a lot of money, but he's a human being.
But okay? We're not talking about this guy being also targeted. You know what I mean? Like, they need to find that season ticket holder, and he needs to be suspended.
Suspended, banned.
You know what I mean? Like, let's go even tat for tat. Like, this is something that you don't touch. I mean, we've been seeing this in all sports, man, with the NBA and having fans feeling like they can do whatever to people that are playing on the field and being competitive. Russell Westbrook, I remember back in the day when you had Marcus Smart, when he was at Oklahoma State, like on college campus, on the court, having to fight a fan. Like, there's putting these guys in situations like that. It's just, to my point, it starts with operations. And I'm going to say about 100 times that let's go back to the nitty-gritty of what happened. I feel like also everyone did the job. Like, President Stanley came out with his, that's saying, I know Coach Tucker and Alan Haller would do their best to work with the investigators in the conference and the commissioner. And so that has happened. And now we're sitting here Monday, and we're still talking about it, which I know we want to move from it. But we're here, and it's praying that we can bounce back from this. But it's truly showing like this is a rival, and we are truly now hated foes. True and true.
Look. When you look at situations like this, you have to look at is there been a precedent of this happening elsewhere? And obviously, we just talked about Michigan, that the stadium having problems with Penn State and having problems with Ohio State in the past, and Michigan doing the same thing while they're on the road to other teams. Like, the common denominator typically is them with starting things. But then you look, okay, has there been any situations where people are swinging helmets? And I think of 2 situations come to mind. Myles Garrett is one from the Cleveland Browns. Myles Garrett, he swung a helmet at Rudolph, a backup quarterback from the Steelers. Suspend him, and let's move on. Okay? Now, just recently, this past summer in the NFL camp, there's a guy who plays for the Rams, I think. Aaron Donald. Number 99. I mean, we can pull up video from him, but he made very good contact with opposing players during a practice session. It wasn't during a game. So what did the NFL do there? Nothing. Nothing. Did the opposing player, the opposing team, press charges against the reigning, MVP of a Super Bowl, or, 3-time defensive MVP of the league, one of the highest paid players? No. Emotions run high. We understand it. We're not saying that what happened was the right thing, but this thing is not something that we've never seen before. We've seen this in camp practices. We've seen this, we can go back in time. I've seen it in my era. You guys are seeing it in yours. You'll see it in Little League. Players fight other players. Players need to be able to decompress after games. And as you say, Otis, let the operations handle things and separate guys, let them simmer down before allowing them to come back together again so that cooler heads ultimately prevail. And that's what we hope will happen here, over time as this gets further down the road. Hopefully the emotion of the game will kind of wear down a little bit and they'll be happy with the result. They got the win. They got Paul Bunyan. Leave the kids alone. They're going to be suspended. And one thing that we can see out of all 4 of those suspensions, they're all for defensive players. And the defense played their asses off. Okay, think about that. That brings us to the This is Sparta Game Day Stats Summary presented to you by IHOP. The 2x2x2 breakfast combo equals 1 delicious meal. Enjoy 2 pancakes, 2 eggs your way, and 2 pieces of bacon for only $5 only at IHOP. Hurry in and enjoy this deal for a limited time. Dine in only. Price and participation may vary. Restrictions apply. Well, gentlemen, we can get into some X's and O's and how this thing broke down. And we'll start with the offensive side of the ball. And, Otis, we'll go to JU first on this one, and we'll look at what happened early on in the ball game. You see Keon Coleman was pretty much unguardable.
The human highlight reel this game.
King Kong ain't got nothing on Keon Coleman, boy.
That was a great throw and great, even better adjustment. Coming back and contorting his body back to pluck it out of the air.
And there's another one like 2 plays later. Oh, you'll see.
And that hurry up, look, that's what we learned this summer, man, JU, where Coach Johnson, they want to catch the defense on the heels. Now, I'm still trying to figure out why he grabbed his hammy. Was that part of the celebration? Or
that was fake.
Yeah, that's what the kids do these days, man. Those are all the sellies.
That's the gritty part? That's the gritty?
That's like the modified stanky leg kind of thing, I think.
Listen, man,
he really had no hamstring issues there.
Right. Another great throw in a position that only he can come down with it, and the great job of him going up there, contorting his body, and making a play when it was needed. And that's great. Going into this game, the big thing that people talked about is, can Michigan State stop the run? At the beginning of the game, Michigan State had, they were firing on all cylinders offensively. They came out with a reverse to Reed, got some yards, and then another tunnel screen to him. Unfortunately, that was hindered by a penalty. Their first drive of this game was hindered by penalties. Horst had a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Like I said in the post-game show, I was down on the sideline at the time, and you could hear Coach Tucker talking about, we coach our guys to play through the whistle, not to the whistle. And I think Horst's reputation preceded him on that one, because he has a rep for being a guy for coming in and having a late hit here and there. So officials know these are all in their game notes and everything.
Right. And Horst, that was a drive killer. You're talking about on the first drive of the ball game, which put them out of position to score. But outside of that, they came back and it was a Neon Keon show. but then break down the 4th and 1 call deep inside Michigan territory. Looks like on the 5-yard line here.
Yeah, I love the call of going for it on 4th and 1, but I hate the play call of running a slow developing run play. And the running back did counter action the other way. They pulled the tight end going the opposite way along with the jet sweep. It seemed like they were getting everything to the right. I don't know if they were hoping they'll get a shift from Michigan's defense, but I just hate this play call. 4th and 1, you put your head down, you put Elijah Collins in the game, you put your head down, you line a fullback in front of it, and you go and get it. Our guy's better than your guys, and we're going to get this 1 yard. No need to be cute on 4th and 1. That's time to get dirty, time to get after it, and they did not do that. Look at that. You have 5 blue shirts 3 yards deep in the backfield on that. That's gut-wrenching, that's demoralizing, and that's not the drive that you want to have when you're actually driving the ball and having success.
It looks like Michigan knew the play. Look at how they were overloaded. There's nobody to block 3-4 defenders. Like, they're completely unblocked when you look at this right here. Like, okay, we know it's going over left guard. We're going to try to act like it's going to go to the right with this counter action. But Michigan totally wasn't fooled here. And there is no chance. That play had no chance from the start. You've heard a lot about Peyton Thorne coming up to the line and seeing this and being able to check out of a play. I think this is the time right here. You check to a slide protector to the left, and you have Keon go out and make a corner route to the right side because nobody can guard him anyway. And you go for it all. Right here, Berger, as we all know, has not proven to be that short yardage back that we had hoped for him to be thus far this season. And right here again, I don't think Choo-Choo, you could have gotten out of that one with 3 or 4 guys.
I don't think anybody could get out of that one. And I'm telling you, like I said, I'll say it over again. I love the fact about being gutsy, going out there on the road and going for it on 4th and 1, with the way that your offense was playing at that time. But I just, hate the play call. That's a slow developing play. You're going to need, I don't know. You got to put your head down. You got to go. You have a fast action play as a lineman. You know that. You want to, get down, get dirty, and get after it.
Well, 100%. What do you think about kicking for the 3 though?
No. Let's go back. Let's keep on this. Do you see Keon Coleman on the line, and it looks like he needs to come down with a crackback, right? He needs to come a crackback, which you can't do anymore. But look, he comes down and what is going on? I mean, guys penetrating
even if he cracked back, what's the deal? 5 guys.
That's what I'm saying. Now look at this. Where could this been an easy right, like a sweep right? Could this been a quick jet motion? Give it to Jaden Reed. Give it to your best 2 players on the field. Is who? Reed, Coleman, and on the 3rd, you got a tight end that can get you some extra yards too. I'm confused on the call, and you can almost look like when they line up, there's no confidence that we're going to get this 1 yard. Game of inches, go down in mano a mano. I get it, but think about this. This could have been a 10-10 tie if we would just kick this field goal.
No, I'm not for kicking the field goal. You're on the
road. I know you're not. You're a running back. Of course you're not. Of course.
Even
look, you're on the road. You're on the road.
You are on the road.
This team has blown everybody out that they played.
You're on the road. You want to steal momentum. That's stealing
momentum.
You got it. There.
But you do have it. There's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with the run play.
You're taking a profit.
You don't run a slow developing run play on 4th and 1.
You don't
run a slow developing run play.
We know the call is terrible.
Elijah Collins.
Kick it.
Elijah Collins, 2-4. There's a difference who was in the game. And we got to be able to say that. If we're going to call a run call, put the man in the game.
I agree with that.
That's what I mean. If we're going to call that call, put someone who's going to get the inch. Come on.
Oh, hell. If you're going to call that call, if you're going to do that, line up like that, Coleman, you see all that field back there. Have him run a post route. Have him run a corner route. Toss it to the back pylon and say, hey, there's a jump ball. You go get it.
Is there something in the rule books that I'm missing that says that you can't spread them out when you're inside the 10?
Like you can't go spread.
Why can't we spread them out inside?
We know they load in the box. Oh my gosh, man!
Look at Coleman there. Just do a corner.
Defenders in the box, guys.
You don't even do a corner, a slant, because everybody came through blitzing. It was wide open.
Check that boy, man. I'm telling you, jump ball in the corner.
Tim Tebow, yeah.
Anything.
Boy.
Michigan, look, they have no safety help. Nothing.
Oh, my God, man.
If you got a play action call there, I mean, it's wide ass open. You understand that?
All right, let's go straight in the huddle. It's timeout. First of all, we took a timeout just to do this play. But, like, Jehuu, you're in that huddle on the sideline. And I know you want to give Choo the ball, let's eat. But what is that call that you want to run that you know you would have got that first down, first and go?
Simple. I would run power, have the guard pull to the side and you just go right, you blast it right up the middle between tackle to tackle. You go in there. And
what side against that defense? Which side of the ball would you run?
You're running on the right side. You're running at the right side right there. You have all your meat that way. And at the end of the day, the reason for running a downhill play is because a running back is taught to always fall forward. All right. If you're a 5'11" running back, you're going to fall forward for a yard. All right. It's 4th and 1. You are allowed to reach the ball. That's the only time you can reach the ball. 4th and 1, 4th and goal, something like that. You can reach the ball. If they knock it out, it's it's a turnover.
This wasted motion counter should have been straight downhill.
It should be straight downhill. Straight downhill. Get your momentum going forward, go down. You need 1 yard. That's all you need. There's no need to get cute. There's no need to try to trick them in some run play. You need 1 yard. Put your head down. Get your lineman talked up. You called that timeout. You get your lineman talked up in there. Build their confidence and say, "Oh, line, it's on you. It's on you." And those guys will be salivating to get that 1 yard.
Now, look, could we have moved Malik Carr to an I formation fullback to get that push? Or give him the fullback dive like we used to do back in the day.
Absolutely.
Like this, man. This could have been an easy. This could be an easy wham play for him too. Oh my goodness, I get sick of looking at it because we talk about game changing play. Like that was a momentum shift that if we would have got that, we'd have went up. Like we would have scored. If we would have got that first down, we would have scored.
But I'm done with this play too.
No, but kudos, frustrating. It's frustrating.
Yeah, kudos to the defense. That's a sudden change right there. That's a momentum change right there. Defense has to jump back on there on the field, and kudos to them. They helped them to just a field goal.
Yeah,
they did. They did. Yeah, I mean they drove. JJ McCarthy drove all the way down the field, but we end up getting that stop and getting the 3, which is a win.
Right, exactly.
That's a win.
Look, man, Moody was the guy for them. That was it. I mean, you're talking about a team that's averaging close to 43 points a game coming into that game. Talking about Michigan, and Michigan State's dominating them, if you will. Corum did get his yards, but early on, I mean, all the way through the 4th quarter, the defense was playing lights out. Let's switch over to that side of the ball, and we look at how they performed early on. There's a swing pass that happens from J.J. McCarthy to the left sideline. And what happens? Big X comes up and makes a stick.
Yeah. Now, you can easily tell who was ready and who wasn't. And Xavier has played in this game time and time out and has came with that bang and balling out, man. Like he comes up, he got one leg bandit, comes in, sticks him, rips, boom. That's how you ball in this game, man. Like,
and look at the emotion that he showed.
Absolutely.
Look at the emotion that he showed after that play. That's what this game's about. That is that emotion. And you put all that work into this, and you're going to be disappointed at the end of it. But yes, that's what we need.
Man, like that was, I felt that. Like I felt like I had made that hit. Like that is one of those game-changing. Now, we talked about how great we played and how the defense came with it. And not having the momentum of the offense after, a couple that drives, that first touchdown with Keon Coleman. But like, this is what you see this excitement, but then we got to go in and figure out like what was the weaknesses of this game and our point. The same hero, same Herald guy who has been killing it week in, week out in Jacoby women. I hate that we got to highlight this, but this was the weakness of the game. You got one-on-one, mano y mano. And if you look at it, you look at this point of it could easily be covered if you have eye control. You in man, but you get stuck in eyes on looking at JJ McCarty, and he's looking at him the whole time and just setting him up, baiting him. Then all of a sudden, you lose sight of your man. You lose sight of, boom, this is a pass, effective.
Yeah, that
could easily be a pass breakup or even an interception if you just embrace it, catch it, drive, plant and drive. But look at that route, look at that trajectory, that angle. Like, this was a couple times where we've seen this happen throughout the game.
Hey, in Jacoby's defense here, hey, Donovan Edwards is the young man's little Alvin Kamara, man. That is a talented running back that is very talented coming out of the backfield.
I get it. But really it's also this, we've seen him cover just like this in previous games. And
it's tight ends. Yes.
Yeah, but look, he got the talent. Like, look, this is an opportunity where you also expose and putting a lot of pressure on this one man. And he is legitimately playing lights out wherever they tell him to play, he's playing. And I don't want to pick on him, but like, this is what Michigan did their studying and seeing we got to get him in one-on-one situation.
Yep. Yeah. And so what they did there, Otis? They set him up. Our defense put him in an island there, and that's a simple route. That route is called an option route. The running back has the option to go in or to go out. He's going to go in. He's going to stick that foot, set him up inside with that head fake, and then take it to the outside. You have to have loose hips. You have to be a athletic guy to be able to cover that. I think Windman was in a bit of a disadvantage, but I think in defense for that,
it could have went either way. He could have went the opposite way too.
But what you do, you're the defensive guy, Otis. But correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm Windman there and I see this guy come, I'm going to go try to bang him at the line and reroute him.
Oh,
look, Otis, NFL level. What linebacker could cover a guy like that?
Matt Milano,
Parsons,
Micah Parsons, Matt Milano.
Absolutely. Now look,
okay. You just said the fastest guy on the planet that plays on linebacker.
Listen, man, I'm just saying.
I said Matt Milano. He's a nifty guy from BC, best cover linebacker in the league right now for the Buffalo Bills.
You just love them Buffalo Bills.
Now, look, we
circles the wagons.
Now listen, like the call on defense, like you should have some type of check, knowing that they spreaded us out, which we did a spread, and we got knowing that this is man to man. We already know we're gonna get an advantage. So in this point is we need to check zone. Like we need to get up out of this man, knowing that we got our guy 1-on-1. But if you didn't also look at it, man. Hell of a game by the tight ends, right? Tight end play, same situation here. We're in a cover 2 man, and you look at Jacoby. Where's his eyes?
Oh man,
no reroute. You got no reroute. At least reroute him, slow him down, and then let him catch up where girls can kind of carry it. But this is another offensive, defensive coaching strategy that offensive coordinator saw the holes and boom. 2nd and 10 turns into a 20-yard game. Now, if you look at the next clip, same situation. There is no reroute from my boy Halliday. No reroute. Eyes in the backfield. You just covering space. I mean, this is just the situations of attention to detail. No reroute. You can run free. That is killing a secondary safety. You can't even recognize which route he's running because he gets coming scot-free. Then look, we gotta get home. And so those are those big plays. They don't look big, but they are big plays in a situation where defense, we did a great job throughout the entire game. And these were those big play games that just obviously start to pile up. And then obviously they turned the tide and won that game. But those are those situations where you think about, they did their homework. They looked at what we do. We're aggressive. When we're aggressive And when we start putting our guys on islands, mano a mano, Donovan Edwards, kudos to him, man. Like, hell of an athlete, right? I mean, you got to use your players to their advantage, and they did the right thing.
You think, I didn't hear any reports of this, but looking at the way Windman was playing, it looked like he, was banged up a little bit. Wasn't playing. I don't know if it was a physical situation or if the moment was a little big. I mean, this is the biggest game he's been in coming from UNLV, this environment here.
I mean, listen, I don't know if he looked banged up or more so like this is that
pressure.
This is that top game where you're supposed to get that stats right.
That's that money game.
Money game. You're supposed to be locked in, loaded, and knowing that we've seen him make these plays before, man. And it is what it is, but he'll learn from it because he's a smart player, hell of an athlete. He'll learn from it.
So my question to that play there that we just saw there, would it help if we were in a 43, have another backer out there or something if you're going to play that? Because
No,
I mean,
look,
the
you
two
got
guys
Gross out
going
there.
over
We got a dime packaging. You got Gross in. I mean, he's kind of your hybrid, right? So in a sense, Holiday, like, look, the DN, where's the chip? Where's the chip?
Yeah, but Gross isn't.
I'm looking at the tight end play. Like, J.J. McCarthy knows where he's going. You see, he didn't check to no deep ball. He didn't even throw a deep ball pass besides these crossers. Like, chip the tight end so that you slow his route down.
Well, if Gross is going to be that hybrid, he needs to stay in. And
no, I'm saying he's a hybrid, but like, think about it. Like, I don't know if it looks like cover 2 man, but it also looks like he can legitimately carry this slot receiver to KB and come off of it to this drag. Look, he could have carried and stuck it right here. But you see what I mean? Like, there's a guy where you say in, come off of it, and that drag could be interception or a nice hit. But look, they're so locked and loaded, it's cover 2 man. It's frustrating, man.
Or tackling.
Frustrating.
Yeah, that's tackling, very poor for a first quarter. Typically in a rivalry game, you're going to see a lot more fire with guys, but they did a good job overall stopping the major bleeding, especially when they got inside the red zone. They limited Michigan to field goals 5 times. Obviously, Moody was 5 of 5 with a long 54-yarder.
54.
54.
Man, we just put that man in the first round draft.
Yeah. Well, so
the first kicker off the board.
Yeah, we going into the game, we talked about it last week on the show. Even Rico, mentioned how Moody's a great kicker. He's a good kicker. We know that. But at the end of the day, that's fine. I would, if they said you're going to go in there and Michigan's going to have 5 field goals, I would say, okay, I'll take that.
Absolutely.
Because I think my offense can do something. But our offense came there
It can't score 15 points or more.
Not show up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And, while we're talking about Moody here, let's talk about our special teams. It's coming back to haunt us. Our long snapping woes. Again, that game against Wisconsin, we shook it off. We laughed it off because we won the game. And now in a game like this, 2 over-the-head snaps. So we need to figure it out. I don't know if you're watching this, if you're a student in East Lansing, if you're a guy sitting at the bar and you have some eligibility left and you want to go in for a semester and you can long snap, I'm telling you, go to the football building, knock on the door and say, "Hey, coach, I can long snap. Let me give it a shot." Because at the end of the day, it's going to come back. We got away with it against Wisconsin, and we're hee-hee-ha-hing. And my grandpappy always said, same thing make you laugh will make you cry.
Oh, always. I mean, that is, I think the long snapper situation is the long snapper's hurt. Pepper's hurt, correct? So
I don't know. You should have more than one.
A backup long snapper right now from what what the study that we've done. So this guy was a little high. He was high on one, made a very athletic play to get it down. And then the next one was just completely over the punter's head. I mean, wasn't even close. And which causes problems. You give the ball in point blank range to Michigan's offense. I think it was on the 8-yard line. And there was really nothing that the defense could do to stop the scoring at that time. But to that point, I mean, Corum had only had 1 touchdown. You look at Moody, 17 points on the day. Blake Corum has the other 12 himself, and 1 of 6 of those 12 were pretty much given to him because of the.
And I have to take my hat off to Blake Corum. He toted the rock 33 times. Look at this run right here,
man. But positive, like he was getting 8 positive easy. Like it was crazy. I was in the stands like, man, that
look
was
at that.
8 yards.
That's embarrassing right there from the Michigan State side of the ball. 3 Spartans collide, and he's spin moving, beast mode. Look at that. That's crazy.
Hey, that remind me of that number 20, boy. Similar, like twins.
right? You know,
No center of gravity. Just, oh man.
How is that a safety coming down on this, Otis? What's the thought process?
You need to wrap up. Like, look, my man. Listen, man. Amir Speed is, bro. This is if you go play in the league, this is an open field tackle that you take. You are 6'4", bro. Like, at the very least, hold my man up. And you diving, you already got 2 helpers. All you gotta do is go to the outside edge. Balance it out, man. Like, put your helmet to the ball. Put your helmet to the ball.
Edge.
Man, he closed his eyes, man.
See,
Said,
Corum did his scouting report. He knew to run at speed.
Look at
Because
this.
if you see that run from that back angle, if he put a foot and gone inside, he could have got some hay, but he knew where to run.
hey, man, look, we
He
call
goes
that
inside to the right here.
we
Woo.
call this Blink 182. You blinking while you tackling, and you ain't seeing your opponent, man. Eyes up, look at the ball, man, and just hit that man. Hit him.
Yeah, did a great job of tackling Windman on that play.
Man,
Great job
friendly
tackling
fire,
Gross
man.
out.
This could have been an ACL on Gross, but thankfully Gross got back up. But if Gross doesn't get back up, this is a touchdown.
Man.
This is a touchdown. Because they had everything blocked.
Oh man, yeah. Xavier's got 2 O linemen on him.
Man.
Right.
I mean,
Like these boys, hey, look, that offensive line.
Field.
Right, we talked about this. You said that offensive line is some animals, man. You said that coach there. Look at these boys running, man. Like,
I mean, look, man. They won the Joe Moore Award last year. I think they graduated 4 of those linemen, and they come back with basically they reloaded the whole offensive line, and they're just as good, if not better, than they were a year ago.
those boys are athletic. Look at this, man. Downfield, everybody got somebody, and we just, man.
Double elbows, everybody spatted. That offensive line, I mean, that's not by accident, guys. That's how they prepare them to come out. They look sweet. Everybody's running down the field. I mean, we gotta rise to that level. We gotta get there.
Like Jacoby again. Look at once we get this back, Jacoby, false steps as a linebacker. You going in when Blake Corum is going opposite ways. You know, as a linebacker, you're supposed to be in mirror with that running back. You pick you take on that block, but like at the point, you should have been gone already. That lineman shouldn't have been on you. And I hate that I'm being so critical, but it's so frustrating that I know these guys could play better. And I know they want to play better.
Absolutely.
You understand the intricacies of the game from your viewpoint. Your perspective is great. I mean, Otis, you're a defensive back. No one knows who had who in the secondary, unless you know the call. But
Bro, you
as
can't.
a safety, you can pick it up a lot quicker than most. And Jehu's got a trained eye, but he toted the rock. He didn't know how to defend it.
Like, get off blocks, man. Like, you just let one. One thing was, if you let one man block you, like you're losing, you're failing your other man on the team on the defense. It's like, be active, get off. At the very least, pop in the mouth. But like, you got D lineman can't get off one block. You got KB is inside long arming on the opposite side. It's just it didn't look like no one wanted it. Just blood in the water and eat, man, on this, man. Like,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, when they ask about draft picks, people are talking a lot about, Corum's not a K9. Okay, he's not K9. He may not be as explosive as a Kenneth Walker III, but the kid definitely does go beyond the X's and O's, as you can see right there. 177 yards on the day.
Man, the way he
Ran
was
one
running,
and caught one.
man,
Hey,
the way he was running looked like he could play like 3 more quarters because he was just going, dog. Like it almost like backyard football, man. Like we talked about imposing will against will, and they had the more will to win the game, and they wanted it, and they took it. They took it, and as a Spartan dog, it's frustrating because I know we could have beat that team. But we'll take it. We'll learn from it, and we got it next year. But we got another tough one this weekend.
To my closing on this game here is the fact that what Michigan State needs to remember is they have to take this, they have to lock it in, bottle it in, and they have to accept it. We went to their place, we got beat. The next thing is remember the fact under 4 minutes left in the game, and they're doing a double reverse and everything like that, a double reverse pass and all that stuff. Remember that, bottle that up, have that same feeling you had when they stuck the stake in the ground at Spartan Stadium. So fester on that for the next 363 days now, 353 days now that's left. Fester on that and get ready for next year for that. But let's take care of business this week. And let's take care of business the rest of the season so we can play for a bowl game and get some more time together as a team.
Final thoughts, Otis?
Yeah, we always said this, or I said this, is there's victory and defeat. So either way you look at it, we will learn from it and we'll get better. That's the only way up. Only way up is to get better. And so this week, Illinois knows that we lost one and we're down. And so we're going to come hungry, but it's one of those things of proper preparation. It's going to, make us win this game, or we're going to will ourselves to this, but you can't just show up. And I think we're learning, you can't just show up and just hope to the Lord himself that we're going to win this game. You got to bring it. You got to bring that effort. And so back to the drawing board, we'll get all the noise around us, got to cut it out. Knowing that, that's not us, what transpired there. That's not our culture. That's not who we are. And we're going to hear rumblings around us, but stay focused, stay strictly on the path. And this weekend, as we preview the Illini matchup down there in Champaign, we'll use this as fuel and we'll get better. That's my end of it.
Yeah, it was a pretty disheartening performance, but there was some silver lining to it. There was a lot of good things done on the defense side of the ball, and obviously on the offense too. You saw Keon had a big time game. You should see more of that, more Keon Coleman, more Jaden Reed to play to the strengths of the team. Peyton Thorne didn't have a bad game. Look, okay, offensive line got to do better, but you can do better. That's the thing about this game that's so beautiful, that you have a chance to be a different animal than you were yesterday, today. And hopefully Michigan State will look at themselves in the mirror, look at what they did good, correct the things that they did poorly, and have their best 60 minutes as they go down the road to Brett Bielema's Illini, they're rolling. They're a top 20 team. So this is going to be another great matchup for Michigan State. We look forward to seeing you guys there. We're going to break this thing down and talk about the game coming up here in a couple of days. And until next time, this is Sparta, and for Jehuu Caulcrick and Otis Wiley, I'm Jason Strayhorn. Have a good night. God bless, and go green.
Go Wiley.